welcome to another video. This time I'll be walking you through the process of my most recent painting titled Wisdom Through Sacrifice. I created this piece using Copic fineliners, which you can see now, as well as watercolor, gouache, colored pencil, and at the very end, my favorite acrylic white paint pen. I'll be keeping this voiceover relatively chill as I don't have a ton to say about this process. It's pretty standard for me. But before I let you sit back and just listen to some music, I figured I'd tell you a bit about what this piece is about. So, as the title for this piece, Wisdom Through Sacrifice, suggests, this piece is mainly about the human tendency to gain wisdom through painful experience. It's often that we have to hurt ourselves or harm ourselves in some way in order to learn the most important lessons of life, and that can often leave scars that are very, very visible. I chose to use the imagery of a missing eye to represent this concept, mainly because of a scripture in the Bible that says, "If your right eye is causing you to stumble, cut it out and tear it away from you. For it is better to lose a part of your body than it is to lose your entire life." And I was thinking about the idea that oftentimes there are parts of our personality that feel important, they feel authentic, they feel like they're us. But if those habits or those ideas don't serve us, don't benefit us, or help us reach our goals, and from there, I decided to see how far I could take the symbology, how much I could do to represent that and push that idea. One thing I've always been interested in is flower language and the various meanings and interpretations of flowers throughout history, specifically Victorian flower language, just because it was so well established and so intricate and interesting. If you've never fallen down that rabbit hole, I highly recommend it. You can say a lot with flowers that you can't necessarily say in words, so very interesting to look at. Another thing I've always been interested in is the language or symbology of various plants and flowers throughout history. If you've never fallen down a rabbit hole of reading about Victorian flower language especially, it is kind of fascinating. For a society that was so polite and reserved in the things that they would say in company or in society, they had ways around this with flowers. You could say some truly shocking things just with the flowers that you gave to someone and how you presented them to them. Highly recommend falling down that rabbit hole. But anyway, for this piece, I wanted to kind of show this entire story, this entire saga of a character going through an immense change in their life, and gaining wisdom and learning lessons based on the trials that they're experiencing. So to start with, in her hair we have amaryllis and aster, along with strings of pearls, which are a pretty stark visual representation of wisdom. She also has bluebells around her hair, which represent constancy and humility, which are vital personality traits in gaining wisdom, in my opinion. We also have iris toward the bottom, which represent hope. And then finally, behind the character, we have a laurel crown, which has been a long-standing symbol of achievement or royalty or the like, and then cypress boughs, which represent healing. So through all of this, I wanted to show her entire journey of going through an experience and coming out the other side of it, changed, maybe scarred, but also a wiser person for it. It was a really fun challenge diving into the symbolism of this piece and deciding how I wanted to go about sharing the narrative that I had in mind for it. I am not a narrative painter most of the time. Although my art does have meaning, I don't necessarily think of it in terms of concrete structure or story. So forcing myself to visually represent a story or a concept that I had in mind in really strong terms was a fun challenge for me. I'm usually much more vague and leave things much more open to interpretation. And with that, I think I'm going to end this voiceover here and let you sit back and watch this painting unfold while you listen to some generic stock music, because that's how we roll. Please feel free to like, comment, share, all that stuff. Tell me what your favorite flower is, tell me what you think of this piece, what your interpretation is, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!